Monsignor Jin, Father Mike, Father Juan, Deacon Willie, and all our distinguished guests. Thank you so much for coming here tonight and to share your love, your passion, compassion, and support for all the children, orphan, and vulnerable children at Maitam who are living with HIV and AIDS. I would like to express my deep gratitude to all of you on behalf of the children in Vietnam. Thank you so much. Well, our MC the night before asked me to explain to you what is Maitam, because there are many people who the first time coming here today, and actually 9 years ago we already started this event. But what is Maitam? Maitam is the name that has been taken as a shortcut from the name of Mother Mary. Mai in Vietnamese means Mary, and Tam is heart, the heart of Mother Mary. The heart of Mother Mary is the heart full of hope, full of acceptance and compassion. And that was the reason why when I founded Maitam 12 years ago, I was looking for the right word. So, I met the cardinal. So I said that I hope that this shelter can be a shelter that everybody comes who were abandoned, who were rejected, felt the love and acceptance. And the cardinal said, why don't you choose Mother Mary? So that's why we have chosen the heart of Mary, the heart full of love and compassion, the heart for her own child, Jesus, and for each and every one of us. Also in Vietnamese, Mai means tomorrow. Heart, the heart looks toward tomorrow with hope. So that is how we created Maitam with that name. Maitam Shelter. What we are doing in the shelter is that we provide prevention from mother to child transmission. A lot of women, single mothers who are living with HIV in Vietnam, they didn't have enough support and love from the family, or being victim of violence, and they got HIV and they got pregnant. Many of them were advised by the doctors in Vietnam to abort. Many of them, when they enter into the hospitals for delivery, they only came to know that they got HIV and they have no one to look after them. And so when they deliver the baby, there are big chances they can transmit the HIV to their children, unless if there is a medicine for them and also for the child to take 40 days soon after delivery. So if they don't get that, there's a great chance that the children continue to get infected. So at Maitam, we go to the hospitals, or we bring the mothers, single mothers, homeless with HIV to our shelter, provide them medicine or help them to access to ART, the antiretroviral treatment, as prophylactic. Therefore we provided shelter and the treatment. Until now, we have provided for more than 500 orphans and vulnerable children with HIV. Today we have 87 children live in the shelter, and we continue to support more than 300 children with HIV in the community. So we help them to return to the family, or we try to help the family not to abandon the kids. So we continue to support them. But those who stay with us, we also provide vocational training and livelihood support so that they can live independently in the future. They don't have to depend on us all the time. We provide vocational training, help them to do sewing, learn how to take care of themselves. And also the children at my time receive education, which send them to normal school to help them to live as normal children. And in the end, we hope that when they grow up, they can return to their family or return to society or try to convince the family that have been abandoned them, take them back. So that's the work of Maitam. So I hope you can understand what is Maitam. It's the place with all of that work, but underlying all of that is the heart of Mary. We try to be as much as possible the heart of Mary to take care of all of these kids and the mothers. In the next slide, I want to share with you the story so that you understand what is going on in Maitam. This is the story of Pepsi. Pepsi, why I call her Pepsi? Because let me begin with this story that 7 years ago, when I was still in Maitam, I received a call from the hospital, and they asked me to come because there's a woman who was using drugs and have 6 months pregnant, and she got HIV and she had nowhere to stay. So I went there and I brought her to the shelter. On the way home, I carried her on the motorbike. On the way home on the street, she fell down. Fell out of my motorcycle on the street, and the taxi almost ran over her. And then the taxi driver came out of the car, shouted at me, how do you take care of your wife like that? I almost ran over your wife pregnant. I said, this is not my wife, stop saying that. So, and then I had to carry her to the Archdiocese office and ask someone to bring her home to our shelter. But a month after that, she disappeared. Maybe because she was longing for drugs, she left. But soon, few days later, the hospital called me and told me that, Father, there's a woman here who delivered a baby and she died. And the baby is 7 months premature. Means she's only 1 kilo, so around 2 pounds. And they said that before she died, we asked her, who is the father? And she called your name. Now we know that you are not the father of the child, but please come to pick the child back to the shelter because the child is HIV positive. So that's how I went there and brought the child home to our shelter, 1 kilo and 100 grams after 3 weeks staying in the hospital. So her name is Pepsi because she's a little bit like a Pepsi bottle, just from there. And we fed her. We tried to give kangaroo care so that she felt that she get enough care. And then she grew up. People thought that she would die, but she grew up. She grew up like that. Yeah. So one more slide, please. Yeah. And that's how life works. That's sometimes I have to do this, and it's not easy. It's not easy to take care of a child that you can carry a little bit in your arm when she's already almost a year old. Yeah, and then that was before I left for Rome to study. Yeah, and then she grew up and she played together with other kids. And one more slide, please. And she started to learn how to walk from the little baby to go to prepare to go to school. Preschool, we provide preschool in Maitam because we cannot send them to the normal kindergarten. And she started to learn how walking when she was small. And when I came back a few months ago, I thought that she would forget me. But the first thing she came to me when I came to the shelter after I had been in Rome for 4 years to study, I came back, she ran over me and she asked me to remove her tooth. I thought that she wouldn't remember me and have to act like a dentist, but improvised dentist. I used a little string to remove her tooth, and she was so happy to show that she has no tooth. But why I share this story with you? This is how one of the many stories of the child happened in my time. That had been left abandoned in the hospital, and had been brought back to the shelter, had been cared for by many other mothers. I was just part of that. Many people like you also came to see how she grew up. But the one thing that I learned, I remember, is the words that when I was in the Philippines, Bishop Shock Villiers, he told me that to remember is to understand. To remember is to understand. Why? Why is so important the word to remember is to understand? Is that many of these children were born, people didn't want to remember them. Didn't want to remember them, and then they were abandoned. When their parents died, their family didn't want to remember them. So they were children forgotten. Children forgotten. And when they are remembered, they help me to understand what is real priesthood. What is real love? What is real acceptance? And that's the only lesson that I learned. And I realized that many times in our life, why we fight with each other, why we leave each other, we don't want to remember. And since we don't want to remember, we don't want to understand. And that's, I think, Monsignor Jin and my college priest will agree with me. In the church, in the mass, Jesus keep insisting that is to do this in order to remember me. Do this to remember me. Give, accept, forgive. And sometimes, growing up as a child, sometimes I have to face a lot of time that I feel that I am not accepted. And I hope that my time is only the place we raise a voice that everyone staying there is accepted, is remember. And because we remember, we understand what is truly love and hope. And the second slide, I share with you another story. Is reawakened. This child was the first child that I took care in 2003. And she was left in the forest with her mother while her mother suffered with AIDS. In the forest, and at that time we didn't have a shelter yet, so I and the volunteer came to took her way out and left the mother in the hospice, and the mother died. And she stayed with the foster mother who worked with us. But every day she spent her day with our shelter, at our shelter. Her name is Lee. And when I went to Rome, I tried to make the story short. She loved us very much. And when I went to Rome, the first few months, I didn't have enough, I didn't have the scholarship at the beginning. There was some problem with the scholarship program, so I couldn't get a scholarship. So one day I shared a story with the staff at the shelter. I said, look, the life of the priest is